Welcome, everybody, to Week 15 of the CFL Weekly Pick'em Show. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in my co-host, Brian Schmidt.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
And the immortal Os Davis.
The immortal. Well, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
You know, you said that just like Elvis Presley would have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah,
okay, don't push it. All right.
I'll be here for the next hour.
Now, I would like to bring up that last week I did pick Edmonton to beat BC, and you made fun of me. Oz.
Okay. I apologize. I didn't know that I made fun of you. I think that's a little
Brian,
bit
do you remember him making fun of me last week when I said Edmonton would beat BC?
I barely remember what I did an hour ago. You want me to remember last week?
I thought maybe you had long-term memory, but your short-term memory was gone. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know how that works with people anyways, because if your long-term memory is gone, but your short-term, it doesn't make any sense. But normally we have former CFL Hall of Famer Dieter Brock on the show. He could not make it tonight. He had a prior family engagement that came up. Dieter will be back with us next week on the CFL Weekly Pick'em Show. So if you've listened this far, at least we got to listen out of you. And make sure you come back next week when Dieter's here. But let's start off with, we'll do this a little bit differently this week. What were some of the things that surprised you or shocked you last week, Oz?
Wow. Okay. Well, a few things from each game, maybe one thing from each game. One of the things that surprises me in general about the Ottawa Redblacks is what happened to this team that was so fun and exciting in the first 3 or 4 weeks? As of late, even when they're winning, they've become so vanilla and so, I don't know, it's almost anti-CFL as compared to especially what they were doing in the last half of last season, which was just this wild, wide open, using the whole field kind of game. And what happened to that? It's not just the switch at quarterback, because they had this quarterback earlier in the season, and he was still running that up-tempo, interesting, sort of tricky offense. They had these 4.5, let's say, weapons at wide receiver last year. These guys, half of these guys are no longer options here. Just wild what happened in this team in the space of a couple of months, I guess. I mean, because, like I say, in week 2, week 3, this was one of the most exciting teams to watch.
Yeah, Brian, I know Brian likes Trevor Harris, and I know at the start of the year, it wasn't Calgary we were talking about. It was Ottawa as being the most dominant team.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know where that has gone, but and really, and this was kind of segues into my point right now, is really, with the exception of Calgary, there is no second best team in terms of right now. I would say Winnipeg is this week. 2 weeks from now, we could be talking about something else. But there's nobody that has pulled away from the pack where you've got Calgary's number 1, this team's number 2. Nobody. I mean, everybody's bunched up together, and I thought Ottawa early in the year. I mean, I thought they were going to be incredible, and now it's not the same team. We've talked about Hamilton many times. Hamilton has really regressed from where I thought they'd be. But again, both of those teams at any point can all of a sudden start playing the way they've done in the past. Right now, Winnipeg is kind of the new hot thing. Are they going to stay hot? I think they will. I was real impressed with, even in the loss, I was pretty impressed with them this week. So there's just no it's Calgary, and then, you jump down the cliff to everybody else right now.
Here are my power rankings. It's 1 Calgary, 2 the West, 3 the East. There you go. There's your power.
There you go.
Right there.
You just did that because you can't spell most of the cities.
Oh, yeah, that's me, yeah.
All right, here's my question for Oz. Who finishes with more wins, the Alouettes or the Riders?
Oh, see, that's a great question. Look, I picked the Alouettes at the beginning of the year to go 3-15 this season. Can they still make that? I'm still sticking with that. I suppose there's an argument to be made for them winning this week just because they'll have the surprise of the new coach. Toronto is a wreck right now. Toronto is a mess. You cannot bring in Drew Willy in the middle of nowhere this season, I don't believe, and see success with that. So I don't see why the Alouettes couldn't top out at 4 wins. Whereas Saskatchewan, wow, really impressive little win here. Didn't look spectacular. Of course, this is half a team. This is a patchwork team. They have no Canadians on this team, right? So they're not going to have brilliant games. But nice little game here showing that on any given Sunday or Saturday or Friday that they can win. I don't believe the Alouettes can ever win. There's just nothing on offense there. So
Saskatchewan. You're talking way too much. Brian wants to speak too.
Okay, Saskatchewan has more wins at the end of the year. There you go.
I'm kidding. But, Brian,
you did ask me. You did direct the question to me.
I know, but I didn't say, hey, now see if you can filibuster us into next week's show.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting for Dieter to show up.
That's what I was thinking. So, Brian, he brought up Drew Willy in Toronto. Is that the long-term answer in Toronto?
I guess it depends on who you ask.
If you ask Ricky Ray, it's probably not the long-term answer.
Probably not, no. But, and I know Dieter said it last week. I mean, he thinks that, Willie, can be a good quarterback in this league. But you listen to other people, and they're like, nah, absolutely not. I don't, I've seen him in years past where I thought that he looked pretty good. This year, not so much. And I think he needs to be in the right system and have people around him. And, so I don't know. I'm not as high on him as I once was. So I kind of think I don't think he's the answer.
All right. Now, you see how quickly did Brian answer that question and succinctly?
I've even got more now. So I'm glad. Well,
I figured you did because we want this show to go for at least 3.5 days. Go ahead.
Okay. So, just real quick. Drew Willy may be the long-term solution, right? He may work out with Coach Milanovic. That may all come to pass. The problem is he's not the short-term solution. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to plug and play. Whereas here is a guy who had a traumatic, start to this season, needs to get adjusted to this team, needs to learn this system, and hasn't yet. That's the problem. He shouldn't be playing right now.
Well, Drew Willy to me sounds like a really bad porn star. I'm going to ask Oz a question, even though
it's not about porn, is it?
Jumped in. No. If it was, I know you know all the answers. But
the
Eskimos' defense, do you think they've rounded into form? There was the thought that with Brandon Thompson signing and some more time under first-year defensive coordinator Mike Benavidez, that the Eskimos' defense would get on track earlier in the season. It appears that it's just taken a little bit longer. They forced 2 interceptions of Jonathan Jennings, including a crucial one late to upset BC. Do you think Edmonton's defense can get them to where they can actually make the playoffs?
Quite possibly. They've got to be in the driver's seat right now. They're, 1 game over Toronto, I believe. And like I say, they're in a much better position than Toronto. Sure, they can get enough wins. Defense looked great against BC. Offensive line even looked decent most of the time. So, sure, why not? Why not? We're going to see, though. We're going to see, right? Because Edmonton has by far the toughest schedule of any team right now in the CFL going down the stretch. So I guess we'll see.
All right. See, Brian, he'd learned from you. So, Brian, You get the next question. Has Jonathan Jennings met expectations this season?
The grade is still being there, but I think so far I would say yes, he has. But the test is still going, and the last few quizzes not been as high a grade as he's had early on in the year. So I'd say right now he has, but we'll see in a few weeks because he's not played as well.
All right, and let's see. We got any more questions? Winnipeg. I think Brian already answered that. He said he thinks they're for real. So, Oz, I know you've been against Dieter's Winnipeg Blue Bombers all year, trying to downplay their winning streak, saying they didn't play anybody. But after this game where they challenged Calgary so well, do you think Winnipeg is for real now?
It's interesting that you're still picking on me for denigrating Winnipeg, but I haven't heard much about Zach Collaros in the past few podcasts.
I've been waiting for him to go there.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't matter because you wait until you watch the Grey Cup, all right? Now, are you going to answer the question about Winnipeg? Because you know what? If you want to host a show, well, you know, you pay for the money to get the Spreaker thing and you host a show. But right now I'm hosting a show, so you answer my question. There'll be no talk of Zach Collaros until we pick the games. And then you can rip on us if you want.
Okay. Sir, yes, sir. Right. So, once again, Winnipeg just showed, you know, that amazing perseverance that they have this season, the way that they just stick around and you can't kill them. Now, Calgary takes that one step further, where not only are you never really ahead of the Stampeders, you're always going to lose. But they do have that stick-to-itiveness this year. And at the beginning of the season, we saw all these talent acquisitions. We saw Harris come aboard. We saw these moves by Winnipeg, and we knew that this was a good team on paper, you know. But and now it's starting to look like that paper team. Of course, the big story here is that gold star that they acquired in the offseason hasn't been playing these past couple of games, and Flanders has been ripping it up over there from the halfback position. Really, I mean, if you ask me, his was the play of the game. When he scored that late touchdown late in the first half, that's what broke up the shutout. That's what turned it from 24-0 to 24-7. And to me, that was like a game changer. That was like, okay, now we're going to start. You know, now we can get back into this game for Winnipeg. You know, on a 3rd and 1, he went for 50 yards and a touchdown. Very nice play. So I like that. But I wanted to ask you guys. I wanted to throw this at you. Okay, so 20 seconds. Bo Levi-Mitchell has the ball. He's going to have to take it from like the 25. What did you guys think? Did you guys think that he was going to score?
Brian?
With Bo Levi-Mitchell? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't, Schmidt, it's kind of like when you got Tom Brady playing against you, and he's got the ball, and there's any amount of time left, you think you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I made weeks ago the reference that, you know, Calgary reminds me of New England, and it, you know, it just bears fruit every time because he just has this way. You know, they just have a way. Ball's in his hands, 20 seconds left. You're sitting there going, oh, they're going to score. It's just, I mean, literally, the whole thought process. They're going to score. It's not even, it doesn't matter where the ball's at, what the situation is, you truly believe that they will always find a way. It's just kind of, it's an incredible team the way they do that. So, but yeah, not a doubt in my mind.
Any other team, Winnipeg wins this game. But any other team does not have Bo Levi-Mitchell. You know, it's just like, so yeah, am I impressed with Winnipeg? Yeah, sure. Geez, the Grueling Truth, the power rankings moved Winnipeg up despite the loss, and that was not the only one that did so. This was a great loss for the team, if you want to say that.
All right, so we'll go ahead. We'll start off with Edmonton at Winnipeg. Brian, who you got?
Winnipeg.
All right,
Winnipeg.
Yeah, I got to go with Winnipeg. Winnipeg, they just won't quit.
I think this is a tough pick. I think this will be a close game. I'm going to go with Winnipeg also, and that will bring us to the Calgary Stampeders at Zach Collaros and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Oz, you have
Zach and the Ticats. Seriously, you guys. You guys who are touting to me about Zach Collaros, what happened here? I mean, look, Collaros obviously has the talent. Okay, he clearly is one of the peak CFL quarterbacks. But what happened here? It's not just the special teams, because the special teams weren't especially brutal in this last game against Saskatchewan. What is the problem here?
Brian.
Oh, and I'll go with Calgary in this game. Obviously, not getting off the horse, but I mean, seriously, guys, tell me, well, what happened here? What happened to the franchise quarterback?
What a smug little asshole.
No, I want to know what.
Yeah, you're just. I mean, number one, is the season over?
Well, no, but
would wait. Would Hamilton be in the playoffs if the playoffs started today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think our claim wasn't that they were going to win every game. Our claim was if they get to the playoffs, they can get to the Grey Cup. Now, I don't know if Brian still feels that way, but I'm on this dead horse, and I'm gonna keep beating it.
I feel the exact same way, and I'm gonna keep beating the dead horse until I get tired and they don't make it to the Grey Cup. But I'll just keep on the dead horse.
Yeah, and who you gonna pick in this one, Brian?
I really want to pick Hamilton because I want Hamilton to win so that I can, have something to say next week. But I can't. It was like last week in the NFL Pick'em show when I picked New England. Nobody thought New England would win a third-string quarterback, and they do. It's not
3 of the 5 people picked New England.
That is true, but there was 2 that didn't. So, but
that makes no one. All right, you got it. Now you're starting to sound like Oz.
But therefore, I got to go with Calgary.
All right, I'm going with Hamilton.
Wow.
Just because the gauntlet's been thrown down. Zach Collaros will throw for 400 or 500 yards, 5 or 6 touchdowns. They'll get the upset. Ottawa at BC. I guess I got to go first at some point. I'm going with Ottawa. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. Oz?
No, I'm going with BC. Ottawa's traveling. Look, BC has looked bad the past 3 weeks. They're doing that thing that they were doing early in the season with them shutting it down in the second half. But I think that, the travel plus BC talent, I think that's enough. BC wins this game.
All right, Brian?
I'm going with Ottawa. The way BC has played, I just my gut feeling is telling me that they're going to pull out a win. So I'm going with Ottawa.
Wow.
All right. Toronto at Montreal, our resident Alouette fan. Who do you got?
Well, I consider this game a coin flip because I can't imagine either side scoring any points on offense. I mean, I'm sure it will happen. It will probably be like 34-31 game. But so what I did was on the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast, grillingtruth.net, I just had Joe Pritchard, my co-host, pick his winner, and I went opposite him. He picked Montreal, so I'm going with Toronto.
All right, Brian?
I can't go with Montreal. I can't do it. Therefore, we're gonna go with Toronto. I can't do it. Can't do it.
All right, I'm gonna do this. It's been a month since they scored a fair amount of points. It is that time of the month, I believe. Okay. Montreal will win this game, and I believe Montreal will win this game 31-10.
Wow. Montreal is actually the favorite at the sports book. They've got a 3.5. They've got a 3-point spread in their favor. It's just like, wow, really.
Why are you talking about sports books? Betting is illegal.
Well, okay, but it's still a measure. It's still a predictor.
I'm just
of outcome.
I just like to give you a hard time, but I can tell you this: you go to grillingtruth.net if you're a CFL fan. Os Davis wrote an article today about Mylan Hicks, who recently passed away, was murdered, the Calgary Stampeders. So make sure you check that article out. It's a really good read, and I know I give Oz a hard time, but hey, I've known him for like 4 or 5 months, and now he's done something productive.
Yeah, great. It only took me that long. Hey, 1 out of 100 pieces.
Just say thanks.
Pretty good.
Just say thanks. And also, you can check out his View from the South. That'd be tomorrow, Oz?
Yeah, it should come out tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Thursday. Certainly before the games start. The games start on Friday.
All right,
He'll be out
and make sure you check out all of our NFL team shows. Brian Schmidt is on with the Whitestone Pittsburgh Steelers Weekly. Not much to talk about this week for the Steelers show, so they might sit there in silence.
They got 3 points.
Well, hold on. That's what the show will sound like. Listen.
Yeah, that's exactly what the show is going to sound like. It's pretty much going to be me introducing myself, me introducing Dwight, and then it's going to be dead silence for about 40 minutes.
Well, I think every 30 seconds you could just go, damn. It'd be like when you watch the game.
And then about 30, 40 minutes in, we're going to talk about Kansas City game and continue to just, I don't know. It's not going to be good. So, but listen anyway, because I don't know. It might put you to sleep, that silence. So.
All right, guys. Make sure you check out GridarMo, our main sponsor, www.gridarmo.com. Great interactive football app, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out our shows this week. We've got a special guest on the Los Angeles Rams show with Os Davis and former L.A. Ram, Tony Hunter. The Rams show this week, which will be out probably Friday morning, will have former legendary 1969 NFL MVP Roman Gabriel as a guest. So, Oz, don't screw that up.
Yeah, I will do my best, Mike. This show of confidence really is amazing. It really.
Hey, I got him for you. If I thought you were a moron, I wouldn't have got him. So, everybody, make sure you check that out. Also, check out the Cincinnati Bengals show with me and Joe Kelly. We'll probably be silent, too, just like the Steelers show. But check it out anyways. Maybe one of us will speak. We've got Titletown Huddle, the Green Bay Packers show with Joe Pritchard and Aaron Zepnick. Also, check out Mac and Mac's College Football show. Basically, we got a lot of shows, so check them out. You can find them all at thegirlytruth.net. You can hear all the shows on iHeart, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Music. You can go to Oz's house, and he'll personally play them for you while dancing.
Sure, yeah.
And I know Brian will, because Brian is a dancer.
No, not anymore.
You not anymore?
No, I gave it up.
Yeah, well, the tips, the dollar bills, it just wasn't worth bending over for anymore.
Well, yeah. You know, that whole arrest thing in Chattanooga changed everything. So.
Yeah, well, Oz has never been to Chattanooga, so he doesn't know about it. But Schmidt is a legend in Chattanooga. I'll just leave it at that. If you go to Chattanooga, just go around to any strip club and ask about Schmidt.
You don't even have to go to the strip club. Just go to the local police department, and they're pretty much got a big old file you can read.
Well, I think they're traumatized now.
You should do like the whole celebrity tour. You should just have a bus go around to all your haunts in Chattanooga. Charge.
Well, the first thing we'll have to do is actually get Brian to Chattanooga. Then, if we're going to do that.
Well,
and
the
just a guess on my part, but.
Yeah, and the second thing is, ever since they escorted me to the state line, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get escorted to Kentucky, things have gone downhill.
Yeah, and I kind of remember the last thing said was "Don't come back," and so it is what it is. But hey, go to the Chattanooga Police Department and read the file.
Okay, yeah, go to the police department, tell them Brian Schmidt said it's all right for you to read the file. But all right, so we're going to get off here because we got an NFL Pick'em show to do later, which you guys can catch today. If you're listening to this, whenever you're listening to it, you can go find the NFL Pick'em show with myself, Brian, Matt Andrews-Scavage, former Denver Bronco Mark Cooper. So for Brian Schmidt, Os Davis, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.